Good morning, friends. Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
Yeah. Okay, generally I don't like standing and talking. I move around, mix with people, but here, the way the stage is, I can't jump and come closer to you. Okay, so while it is being set up, and I was not told to talk about 2 years and 8 months of PhD chamber लिखा है ना? Let me give you some figures. We started the journey with 64.5 lakh taxpayers who migrated from old regime to new regime. Today we have 1.22 crore active taxpayers, which is after eliminating around 28 lakh cancellations have happened, both suo motu as well as on their own. So actually, if you see, the number went up from 64.5 to almost 1.5 crore. So that's number one, and that's only during last 30 months. Now, what was the growth earlier? I have worked during sales tax. I have worked partly during VAT. All over the country, it used to be between 8 to 10% new registration and 1 to 2% cancellation. So average growth was around 8%, 7 to 8%. Here we had phenomenal growth. Though we had kept the infrastructure for much larger than 64.5, but we never in our wildest dream we thought that this will achieve 1.3 crores just in 2 years. Now, if someone gets cancelled, he is not eliminated from our system. He can continue to come. He has to file his GSTR 10. He has to file all his GSTR 1 and 3B as applicable. He has to complete his annual return. If he is aggrieved, he can file appeal, which means he is live on my portal. He is also one of my users. He doesn't go away. He is there. During this period, more than 42 crore returns have been filed. Yes, there have been problems, and I'll talk about it a little later. For last 3-4 months, we are having more than 1 lakh crore collection on this portal. And if I'm sure you must have realized, here when you make payment, by the time you come back from your bank portal, it is there in your cash ledger. This doesn't happen in other taxes. In fact, other taxes are now going to implement this, where in other taxes you pay and it comes in your account after 48 hours. Then, some other things on annual return. Whenever we bring something new, there are two challenges. One, for user, there is something new. And for us also, though we do multiple rounds of tests, there are scenarios which we don't envisage because there are some typical scenarios we call in IT corner scenarios. They happen, and then we have challenge on both sides. Then changes which take place, like in case of annual return, some tables were made optional in month of November. Now what happens? You have to change the tool. You have to also change the online version. And then what happened? Lots of practitioners and taxpayers, they continue to use the old tool. The moment you upload using old tool, it will give error. And that's why the maximum people face that problem. We keep on coming with advice. In short, whenever something new comes, and Gupta ji and all the people sitting here, they are the practitioners. The annual return is quite elaborate. Came much later, asked lots of information, which industry takes time to collate, compile, and file. Now we had 92.58 lakh regular taxpayer in 17-18, which by March 31st, 18, we had 92.58 regular. Composition alag hai. Out of which 80 lakhs were below 2 crore turnover at aggregate level, PAN level, and 12.42 above 2 crores. Now those who are above 2 crores, they have to file 9 and 9C both. Now let me give you, And by the second amendment or notification, government made filing of 9 optional for those whose turnover, aggregate turnover was below 2 crores. So out of 12.42, and this figure is till day before yesterday night, 12th midnight, 9.98 lakhs had filed GSTR 1 and 3B. You are aware, filing of GSTR 1 and 3B is a must for filing 9. And for filing 9C, 9 is also must. So it goes one after another. So step 1, 12.42 lakhs, out of which 9.98 filed both R1 and 3B, which is 80% people. Out of that, out of 9.98, 9.11 lakh have already filed 9. This is 91% of that. And out of these 9.91, 8.42 have filed 9C. In fact, the highest filings have happened in Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Gujarat, all these states. And that, in fact, we have released a statement last night, a complete figure, state-wise. What we have noticed, 104,000 taxpayers who are not supposed to file 9C because their turnover was below 2 crores, they have also filed 9C. ये तो कंसल्टेंट लोग की कृपा है, फाइल करवा दिया उनसे, ठीक है. Out of 80 lakhs who are below 2 crores, 54 lakhs have filed GSTR 1 and 3B both, which means there is a huge gap. 30 lakh people have not filed all three GSTR 1 and 3B. Now they will certainly be getting something from the department, not today or the tomorrow. Out of these 54 lakhs, 32.9, which is almost 33 lakh people have filed GSTR 9. Now that's the percentile, though it was made out to be before the Honorable Court that GST system was just not working. We had, as I mentioned, there was challenge on both sides. We see 3B filing up to 22-23 lakhs in a day. But GSTR 9, because of its size, etc., that numbers were much less. So this was, I thought, 2.5 years of what I need to say. Let me complete these two things, which is e-invoice and a little bit on 2-3 slides are on new return. And then I'll come back and talk about some of the issues which Shri Gupta raised. Now what you see here, you all must be familiar when you travel abroad. Many times you forget to carry your adapter, that universal adapter. And then you are affixed because we go to one country, they have 2 cylindrical holes, some have circular holes. Now why I am showing this, this is exactly what happens with your accounting and ERP software. You generate one, you generate electronically, but when you send it to your buyer, what does he do? How does he enter the data? Enter करते हैं ना? Manually. The moment you enter manual, and this is sheer wastage of money and resources. You have generated electronically, you are sending it here, and the buyer is not able to take it into his system from where he has issued PO. He issues PO against which invoice comes, and then against that PO, payment is made. These are 3 steps. Now what we do by manual entry, we incorporate lots of transcription error. Transcription error is 789 will be entered as 798, and the person entering, that's the way our brain works, will never realize that he has entered wrong. That's a major challenge. And you know what is the percentile? How much we do it? It goes to 7%. It's a big number for any system to. So wrong entry, reconciliation challenges. So need for standard to ensure complete interoperability was felt by across the world, and many countries have done it, as Sri Gupta and Sri Agarwal also informed us, much before when we have started thinking about it, to eliminate need of data entry and also to eliminate any transcription errors. Now look at this. This is for the whole world. 112 countries have already gone for e-invoice. 59, they have not started. We are one of them. Now once we implement, we'll become 113th, and the number here will go down. Just look at in our locality, South Asia, out of 8 countries, 5 are already having it. All our neighbors have. We don't have. And that was the reason, and this also is one of the criteria for judging ease of doing business by World Bank. Now, I'll let you share some benefits with you. So, in fact, this e-invoice is not something which we are doing for GST. This we are doing it for industry and trade to make your interaction as easy as possible, less friction, less error. Now, when they implemented in France, and this is study of 2016 done by Ernst & Young, what you see, the first column is paper invoice or pre-e-invoice period. Cost of handling one invoice was 7 euros, and that's a rich country, 7 euros. After introduction of e-invoice, it became 0.3. The change is 96 percentile saving. Number of invoices handled by an employee in a year, 6,000 paper invoices. Now the same person is handling 90,000 invoices because it comes in the system. He doesn't have to enter. He has to simply check certain things. Time saving, 15 days for paper invoice. Now it has reduced down to 3 days. So they did a survey to find out and ask them what is the principal advantage of this transformation. More than half businesses, they view cost reduction as the most important benefit of this. So there are other advantages apart from cost, accuracy and less reconciliation challenges. Then better relationship between buyer and seller because your payment cycle also gets reduced. And then internal controls become better and of course paper gets eliminated. GST reporting is just a byproduct of this entire thing which we are attempting to do. So what happens here? This does not mean that you will generate invoice on any portal. No. You will continue to use whatever accounting or billing package you are having today, you will continue to use that. You are not going to come to a portal to generate it. You generate the way you generate. So there is no change for you. Where is the change? The ERP and accounting software companies, they need to change so that the electronic file, all of you are familiar thanks to GST, JSON file, right? Much maligned word, but that's one of the best way of exchanging data from one system to another. That format we have given so that everyone generates in the same format, meaning the first line entry will be GSTN of the seller. It will be a 15-digit alphanumeric. The second will be buyer's GSTN. Then there will be invoice number, invoice date, like that. So any system which reads, it will go through that in that sequence and the length of the character and understand what is written there, whether it is generated by SAP, Oracle, Tally, Busy, whatever you name it. So you will ask, what are we doing? We started working with them from September itself, having workshops with them, giving them all these schema, etc., so that they make necessary changes, so that your customers or you, if you are using yourself, get this in time. Then the next important thing is we want to make it as a part of your business so that you generate, invoice generation is your part of your business, that's your duty. You generate and just send one to GST system and forget government compliances. And I'll explain what else we'll be doing out of that. So what happens here, what you see on the left hand side, the taxpayer, the supplier in this case, He uses his ERP or some accounting package. He uploads the JSON file, which will be generated in a particular standard on invoice registration portal. We are starting with only B2B, and we are going to implement in a phased manner. We are starting with those whose turnover is more than 500 crores and above. That number at PAN level is around 54,000. GSTN it is much less, 7,000, but PAN level it is 54,000. So they are already, many of them have started working, and I will show you. One concern which Gupta ji raised, and we are also cognizant of that if we put only one system, if it doesn't work, then what will happen? Your business cannot stop. So we have started one. The second one we are trying to put in place by June, July. And if need, we will put third one also. So there will be multiple such systems. You can report to anyone. 200% redundancy. Then this system will generate a number. We call that invoice reference number. And it gives back along with a QR code to the supplier, digitally signed, which means, Mr. Supplier, I have received your invoice. These are the details, and this is what I am acknowledging. Period. After that, it's you keep it, you give it to your buyer. All that you do yourself. Now, what this invoice registration portal will do? It will share that with GST system to make an entry in your ANX 1 and also make an entry in ANX 2 of the buyer. And if you tick that I need e-way bill, it will also take that entire data to e-way bill. What we did here, rather than reinventing the wheel, we have adopted a standard called PayPal, which has been developed by European Union. And that has been now accepted and used by Australia, Singapore, many other countries. So we have made little changes, like we have introduced one part for e-way bill, because this was the request which came from industry. आप उसमें transporter का detail और गाड़ी का detail डालने दीजिए, so that we don't need to do it again. So that is put, it goes to e-way bill, and your e-way bill will be ready. So the basic idea is that if once we have mandatory for everyone, I can't predict when, 6 months, 1 year, whenever the government thinks, then your complete ANX 1 and ANX 2, at least the business to business supplies will be completely populated. And that's the aim of the government. So to summarize, you will continue to generate invoice on your own system. In fact, what you generate is an electronic invoice, only you print it. When you are sending it to your buyer, many times you send it as a PDF file. So you will continue. Only thing you will be generating now as per the new standard, and you will report it to invoice reference portal. Now your question will be, how do I report? So we are coming with some tools. They are already available for test. You can also use one of the GSPs, ASPs. You can upload directly yourself. So this time we have made a change. You can also upload directly by following the same process what GSPs, ASPs do. And standards are available on the second last line, what you see there. If you go to GST website, and the last one is the portal, which has developer portal, which we have started because currently we have allowed it for people to do the tests. Now, signed QR code. This signed QR code, why we have done it? Is there any need for doing it? The need was so that anyone can check with a mobile application whether this QR code, what are the items like GST of supplier, buyer, then invoice number, date of generation, invoice value, number of line items, HSN code of the highest taxable value, and unique invoice reference number. These will be there. In fact, even you can use your Paytm app, you just scan the QR code and you can see all of them. Of course, we are going to give you another mobile app. Now, this is the current status. In the morning, I just took this data. Out of those 50,000 odd, 1,227 have started. They have registered. They are generating IRNs. And then we also have 40 GSPs who are out of all 40, basically all active ones are registered here. Then they are also testing cancellation. So this is where we are. However, I'm not very happy with this. This is just 2% people who are trying. We had written to all of them, one-to-one email went, that this is going to be applicable. Please come, register, start testing it. Out of 54,000, only 1,227 have. और फिर लास्ट में क्या होगा? 1 अप्रैल को बोलेंगे काम नहीं करता है. Okay, this is how it looks like. And at this time, it is only for those 54,000 people, GSPs, ASPs, and accounting software and ERP companies. We have not opened it to others. It's basically by invitation. We are sending them, and then they are working on it. For others, as and when government says, okay, now we'll reduce from 500 to 100 or 50 crore. So accordingly, we'll keep on inviting people to come and work on this. This is how this has been generated by one of the GSPs they showed. You just send it, it comes back with all those details. That's the QR code, which will, the way you have in eWaybill today. Another solution which one of the GSPs has come, they said, you are not able to make changes in your software, don't worry. Send me the way you generate using your Tally, Busy, whatever. I will convert it, I will report it to IRP, get IRN and give it to you. Of course, it will not be free, it will be charged. But they have already come up with and they are showing this solution to their customers. Now, what are the implications for taxpayers? As I mentioned earlier, there is no change in the way you interface with your ERP accounting software. For you, the interface, the UI will remain same. Nothing is going to change. All you need to tell your IT provider कि भाई इसको upgrade कर दो E-invoice system के हिसाब से. Then you don't need to avail services of any consultants. We have been getting lots of query that do I need to hire XYZ consultant to do this? No, you don't need to. All changes are required to be done by the software provider, not by you. You don't need to make any change. The way you generate, you keep on generating. It saves time and it improves the efficiency of PO invoice payment complete process. And the end byproduct is creation of at least these big guys, their ANX1 will be fully created. And their buyers, ANX2 will be created depending on whether they are above 500 or not. And similarly, eWaybill, which will also reduce your time and compliance load. Now, the rollout plan, we started in October, giving the approved schema with all the GSP, ASP, accounting software companies. From 1st of January, this thing was opened. In fact, from 500, the government asked us to make it 100 crores. So we have given that to 100 crores. And further reduction, as and when government decides, but the notification is for currently for 100, which may be changed to 500. So I'm not sure about at this stage. 500 crores. Now, Gupta ji had asked about e-invoice implementation. So I've covered most of it. Is there anything left on this? My colleagues, two of my colleagues, Mr. Ravi and Vivek, they will be covering and they will be answering questions. Of course, some questions I can also take at the end of the session. But we have put more than some 60 odd questions and under FAQ on our portal. Now, under the new return, you all are aware, we started, first the first one was released, ANX1 was released in July 19. Then we added a functionality of ANX2, then we added functionality of matching tool, etc., etc. More than 1.4 lakh taxpayers have used it. And I'm very happy with that. But then that number should be more. Our target is at least 10 lakh people if they use it. Then, when we switch over in April, the pain of migration will be less. Now, I'll show you some statistics. We are sitting in PhD chamber, which used to be earlier called Punjab, Haryana, Delhi. The three states, their participation is at the lowest level. So may I request you all to kindly, I know you are busy with annual return, now one khatam hua, 3 bhi hoga, but take out some time. Download the new latest tool, version 5. What has happened? Since so many people have participated, we have kept on improving the tool based on their feedback. ये feature लगाइए, ये हटा दीजिए, इसमें ये add कीजिए, and also some of the bugs which they told us. In fact, many of them they gave us good insight, and with that we have come up with fifth version. You remember when GSTR 123 was deployed, many of you will recall, at that time 2A, we had not given any matching tool. This time we have given a matching tool where you can open your ANX2 downloaded from system and import your purchase register. And it matches and tells you what is matching fully, what is matching partially, and what is not matching. It also shows you invoice one below another, like one invoice from NX2, other invoice, same invoice from your purchase register, and if there is a difference, that cell is highlighted, that your taxable value is not matching, or your tax amount is not matching. And then we have also given them tolerance. You can fix कि 5 रुपया 10 रुपया तक इसको छोड़ दो, मान लो मैच है. So you can do that. Other feedback was during GSTR1 deployment, consultant said that every time we have to do it separately for my customer. Can you give me in one tool I can do for 200 of my clients? So this tool you can do for 200 of your clients. You don't need to log out and come. Only thing you need to just go and change the profile. Use for which particular client you are doing it. Number one. Number two, all old files will remain in that, which means in this tool you can manage and maintain all the ANX1, ANX2 of your clients in the same tool for previous months as well. Now there's a big change which we have brought. So my sincere request is, please download the tool if you have not done so far, and fill up. Just take your current ANX GSTR1 data. Of course, the formats are a little different. Feed into this and upload. Ask your suppliers also to do it, and then you will have ANX2 and you can match and do it. What I'm showing here, all the people who have uploaded ANX1, ANX2 from July till December, we created RET for them, RET1. And we found that, okay, some cases there is an error. So we are also analyzing why the error has happened, but in large number of cases it has been generated. We have sent email, I have sent personally email to them, thanking them and asking them now to change value in ANX1 and see its impact on RET. Is it coming directly into this or not? Change, make some change in ANX2, see how it is, whether it's coming in RET or not. After RET creation, the payment is exactly like the way you do in 3B. So we have not kept that as part. Another big change from earlier return trial was that this is on your portal only. You need to log in and it's their new return trial. You don't need to go anywhere. Lastly, whatever you put here, that will be cleaned, that will be purged. It will not be used. This is just for trial. So my request to all of you, be part of, increase that number from 1.42 lakh to 10 lakh. So let me just show you, this is the statistics. So unique GSTNs, sorry, not 1.42, 1.02 lakh. The trial has failed. See the smaller states, they are also doing so well in mobilizing their taxpayers or consultants. Look at even Nagaland, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Tripura, Bihar, more than 5 or 6% taxpayers have participated. Look at Karnataka, it's a large state. They have 7.5 lakh taxpayers. out of which 45,000 have participated. And we have got best feedback from Karnataka. Now other states are down below. Let me go to the next one. अब देखिए दिल्ली कहाँ है?
दिल्ली कहाँ है?
0.18%. अरे अब तो हो गया, अब कर लीजिए. उसके जस्ट ऊपर पंजाब है, उसके जस्ट ऊपर हरियाणा है. सो PhD जहाँ HPD हो गया है उसी सीक्वेंस में है. So I thought I'll show it to you, make an earnest request, please participate, please try and give us feedback. Your feedback, see, we cannot test all scenarios, we cannot imagine all scenarios. You are consultant, you people know the law in and out. Try to put scenarios कि इसे देखे क्या करता है. अगर इसको ऐसे करता हूँ, नेगेटिव सिनेरियो काम करता है कि रुक जाता है या गलत रिजल्ट देता है. हमें वो चाहिए जिसे कल को कोई टैक्स पेयर अगर उस तरह की चीज डालता है, उसकी इसमें आती है, तो हमें पता लग जाए. तो आप जितना करें, और हमारे को फायदा और आपको फायदा क्या है कि आप फेमिलियराइज हो जाएंगे. मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ आप करिए. आपके जो बच्चे जो डेटा एंट्री करते हैं, आप लोग तो करते नहीं हैं, आपके जो बच्चे डेटा एंट्री करते हैं ना, उनको बोलिए कि ये डाउनलोड करें, उसको इस्तेमाल करें, इसमें डेटा एंट्री करें, इसको अपलोड करें, ANX2 डाउनलोड करें. उनको अगर आप प्लीज लगा देंगे, और आप सबके पास, मुझे पता है कुछ लोगों के पास तो 50 डेटा एंट्री ऑपरेटर हैं. लोगों ने जिनके बहुत सारे क्लाइंट हैं, कई हजार क्लाइंट हैं, उन्होंने उतनी बड़ी रखी हुई. आस्क देम टू डाउनलोड, यूज इट एंड जस्ट गो एंड गिव द फीडबैक. फीडबैक के लिए भी हमने पूरी वो बनाई हुई है जहां जाकर के आप फीडबैक दे सकते हैं, स्क्रीनशॉट दे सकते हैं, किस सेक्शन में क्या प्रॉब्लम वैसे बना हुआ है. एंड दैट इज एनालाइज्ड बाय आवर डेवलपर्स. वी लुक एट इट एंड देन take quick action on that to improve the system. So this is what I thought I will share. Now let me last come back to some of the things which Gupta ji has raised. One is so-called lottery scheme. Actually, it is not a lottery; it is a draw of lots. Lottery कहने से वो legal problem हो जाती है. So it's a draw of lots. The purpose is same, that we encourage people, you and me, when we go and buy, we should ask for invoice. And then the price, what you have, I mean, it has already come in newspaper, so I don't need to hide that. That kind of big prize which will be given. And then second prize will be for every state and UT. Third is also, so overall 1,900 odd prizes every month. Now we are already, in fact, we are developing. Another company has been hired, a young company, which is developing the mobile app, using which you can scan the image. It will read also GSTN and all. It reads invoice number, date, but taxable amount still we are struggling because some people write CGST, SGST separately. Some people write line item wise. We don't have any common format for B2C invoice. कैश मेमो का है ही नहीं कोई. Anyway, so the option we have given, you can enter. So there are only 5 details to be entered: GSTN, invoice number, date, taxable value, and tax amount. And then you say upload. You get an acknowledgement number, and that acknowledgement number is, 1-2 मिनट के लिए लॉ को भूल जाए, is basically your lottery number. उसी पे ड्रॉ होगा. Now we are expecting some 10-50 crore invoices at least to start with, and that is what we have designed, and it can scale up. The entire backend we have hired cloud infrastructure, separate infrastructure for this. So that's the one. Another one, there's lots of confusion about QR code. There are 2 notifications. Notification number 70 of 30th December and 72 of same 30th December. 70 talks about taxpayers who are selling and generating B2C invoices, and their aggregate turnover is more than 500 crores. Now 500 crores, say for example, Big Bazaar, you go and they generate invoice. The idea there is that they will also generate dynamically a QR code on their device, जिसको हम पॉइंट ऑफ सेल्स डिवाइस कहते हैं, सो दैट You and me can use the mobile and make a payment using any UPI app, Bheem, Paytm, etc. Today, when you use one of these, you have to enter the amount. Tomorrow, you don't have to. And this is the way whole of China they do it. You just go to any store. In fact, there are many stores, they don't take anything else. You have to just do this. What will be done then? You will be seeing the amount, taxable amount, tax amount, and when you make payment, your details are automatically taken, and that invoice will also come into this lottery. So the idea is to encourage more and more people, and then it is easy to pay. So that's the QR code which is to be generated by the seller on his point of sales device, nothing to do with IRP. Come back to 72. 72 talks about that you have to report your electronic invoice in a particular format to invoice registration portal. And portal, when it gives you back signed payload, it will also give you a QR code. Now the QR code, why we have kept? Suppose you want to find out whether this invoice, e-invoice, which your supplier has sent, is actually generated from, actually signed by that or not. If you just scan, it will tell you all the basic 8 details which I showed you, and whether the digital signature is intact or not. If you make any change in that, your digital signature becomes invalid. So that's the idea there. So these two QR codes are completely different, and wherever I go, people ask me, ये दो QR code क्यों है? दोनों एक से क्यों नहीं कर देते? दोनों अलग-अलग चीजें. एक B2B का है, which we will generate. The other one is B2C, which the seller has to generate. Another thing which he mentioned about was this flow-based lending. E-invoice, another thing which the government is now attempting is to make lending available to SME sector. And for this, they have created RBI and the other 3 regulators. They have joined together and they have given license to, I think, 4 or 5 companies, by now 5 companies, to work as account aggregator. Now, what is the concept of account aggregator? Here are people who want to take loan by pledging their invoice. This is, and it could be both ways. I have sold, but I am not getting money, so I want money, and then buyer can give the money later to the lender. Or I am buying something and I don't have money, I want to pledge this, and once payment comes, part payment will come to me, part payment will go to the bank. So here you have those who are seeking loans. Here you have people who are ready to lend, which is banking and financial institutions. Then in the middle you have some people who are information providers. So GSTN is a provider, income tax is a provider. Now why we come into picture? Because you will file your invoice level data here. And once it is filed and locked by your buyer, then on that becomes eligible for this. We are also working how even if the buyer has to do that locking, and he will give a consent. Today also you give a consent so that your GST can file on your behalf. The same consent will be there. And then any bank can quote on that account aggregator portal. So you just go at one place, give your consent. From there, it will come to us. We will enable that particular bank whom you have chosen based on the rates offered by them to look at your returns and also the invoice, so that they know what is your, and they will also be getting your payment transactions from other banks, because every bank is a information provider and information seeker. So suppose you have dealing with Punjab and Sindh Bank, where all your payments are received or made, whereas you have gone to HDFC has given you the lowest. Now PSB being part of this will be mandated to provide your current account data to them. So they can see who all are, how much payments you are getting, how much supplies you are making, how much payments you are making, how much payments you are getting, and then match it with your ANX 1 and ANX 2. So they have already built tools to match these two and show what you are showing in return and what you are getting. If they are in sync, and you have sound financial health, we will give you. That's the basic idea. So technology is enabling lots of things to be done. In fact, I was amazed to see a presentation by a startup fintech company. Fantastic. In fact, they scan your profit and loss account, read that, match it with your current GSTR1 and the 2A, and tell the bank क्या है, क्या ठीक है, क्या नहीं है. Amazing. I saw it just 3 days back. पूरा PDF, आप PDF दीजिए, PDF पढ़ लेगा. अगर आप इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉपी देते हैं, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉपी तो पढ़ ही लेगा. देन इट मैचेज, देन इट शोज किस नाम होता है ना उसमें, बैंक में तो नाम होता है, उस नाम को उठाया, GSTR1 से ये किया, उसको मैच करा. Now, so that is what is happening. So this is the concept of account aggregator which is coming. The last one you had asked me, fake invoice. Frankly, whatever we get is the actual invoice. What doesn't come to us is fake invoice. That's all I can say. So thank you very much, PhD Chambers, for giving me and my colleagues opportunity to come and talk to you.